Hello again and welcome back to Insight Check. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at 6 rules that you are probably getting wrong. So whether you're brand new to D&D or you've been playing for quite some time, there's a really good chance that at least one of these rules has probably sparked some discussion at your table. But let me know in the comments down below. Let me know if there's something that confused you when you start, or if there's a rule that you guys still have trouble interpreting sometimes. So without too much further ado, let's just jump straight on into it. So to kick things off at number 6, we are going to take a look at reactions, and more specifically, reaction timing. When does your reaction regenerate? The answer to that is your reaction comes back at the start of your next turn, not at the top of the initiative order. So if you just happen to be going at the end of the initiative order and you just taken an opportunity attack on an enemy, you don't have the ability to make another one just at the end of at the start of the next turn, just because the initiative order has restarted. Your turn needs to come around again before you're able to take another opportunity attack or use any ability that requires a reaction to do so. All right, moving on to number 5, we're going to take a look at what happens when you ready a spell. So when you ready a spell, what happens? Do you use the spell slot immediately or only when you actually release the energy from that spell? Well, if we look at the player's handbook, it does tell us that the spell is cast immediately, which does actually consume the spell slot right away, whether or not your trigger to complete the casting of the spell occurs or not. So you do use the spell slot immediately, even when you decide to ready the spell. Also, and often forgotten, is that when you cast a spell that you're going to be readying, you actually need to maintain concentration on that spell, even if it's a spell that doesn't require it. For example, Magic Missile. If you hold Magic Missile, you ready Magic Missile for a specific trigger, you still need to maintain concentration, which means you also cannot be casting it simultaneously another spell that has concentration requirement. Moving on to number 4, we are going to take a look at surprise. So in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, there is no really such thing as a surprise round. Surprise occurs on the first round of combat. The reason that's important is there are particular abilities in the game, such as the Gloomstalker Ranger has abilities that specifically take effect only on the first round of combat. If you are surprised, so if you don't see the enemy coming and they attack you, you effectively just miss your first round of combat. Not everybody in your party might be surprised in the same combat. Some members of your party may be aware of the creatures that are around them, but some members of your party might be surprised. Initiative is still rolled as normal, and then you proceed in the order of combat for those who are not surprised. Once that round is complete, you then get back to the top of the initiative order and you continue in combat as normal. Number 3 is pushing or forcing a character to move does not necessarily trigger an opportunity attack. According to the player's handbook, in order for an opportunity attack to be triggered, the character in question needs to actually use some portion of their movement. So for example, if they use an ability such as teleport, or if an Eldritch Blast pushes them away, they do not trigger an opportunity attack, even if they leave the melee range of another character. They specifically need to be using some portion of their movement to do so. So number 2 is a very straightforward one. If you are going to be making an extra attack, you need to have taken a first attack. Now this sounds like it makes a lot of sense, but the question really comes up is, if you're able to cast a spell, can you then take the extra attack action as a second attack? And the answer to that is no. There are some features for certain classes, such as Blade Singing Wizards, which are able to do it when they get extra attack at 6th level. They are able to actually use a cantrip as well as take an attack, but that is not the case in general. In general, you have to have actually attacked first. You cannot have taken the help action or the stealth action and then an attack after that. You need to have taken the attack action followed by a second attack. So lastly, at number 1, we are looking at moving around another creature. It happens all the time. You're in a tight confined space in combat and you need to get through to the other side. Can you actually do that? Well, if the character that you're trying to get through is an ally, yeah, you can. But if it's an enemy, the enemy specifically needs to be at least 2 sizes smaller or 2 sizes larger. And in addition, that space that you take counts as difficult terrain. You also cannot willingly end your turn in the space of another character or creature. All right, so that's it. I do hope you enjoyed this video. This has been a look at 6 rules that you might have gotten wrong at some point in time. But if you like this type of content, or if you have any other questions about specific rules that maybe you've interpreted wrong in the past, let me know in the comments down below. And please do remember to like and subscribe. It does sincerely help and I genuinely appreciate it. Otherwise, take care.